Alrighty, I think we are recording. So we are back for. Are we going to call this episode 3, or are we going to call this episode bonus 2.5?
3, I think, is the most official title for this one.
Are we going to wait an entire week to launch it, or are we going to put it right up?
I think that would be. We could probably do like a middle week type deal.
All right.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. Play by ear.
Episode 2.75.
2.75 right there. We always got to be different here.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everybody. So this is episode 2.5 to 3, somewhere around there. So we are actually sitting here with 4 people today versus just the 2. So we'll make some introductions, but we're actually going to try kind of a round robin form and see how it goes. So, David, I don't know if you want to kick off since it's your crew.
Absolutely. So I got 2 of my good friends here. On my left, we got Wade.
How you doing?
And then on my right, we got John.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Now, I don't know if you guys want to give like a brief introduction. You don't have to like go too in detail, but what you guys are, like obviously college students. If you want to talk about that a little bit, what you guys do, big into music and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So me and David go long back. I mean, I think we met in 4th grade?
4th grade, Mrs. Dean's class.
Yeah, and since then we stayed close friends. Same with Wade. I currently go to Westchester with David, and
Senior.
Yeah, we are seniors, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and Wade especially, we've been really close friends over the course of high school because of the music stuff. He's a guitarist and I'm a drummer, and we really enjoy making music together, more of a classic rock vibe and bringing back some of the old sound to a newer generation.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that because you're starting to go into like a more different direction with that, but you guys also still like, obviously after this, you guys are going to go record music and do all that, but Wade, I guess you can go ahead and
I would say probably the most interesting thing is probably the guitar thing, and that's about it. Other than I'm about a sophomore. I'm going to graduate from DCC this year with associates, and then I'm going to be going to Westchester. So.
Yeah. Now, I guess like the first question, I guess to kick everything off, would be, what do you guys see yourself doing after graduation, or where do you see yourselves? Do you guys even have like a vision for that, or is that something that you guys don't even think about at all?
I have a vision. I want to move. Maybe somewhere out west or Midwest, but other than that, not really.
Just kind of like going with the flow, sitting with you, or
I'm an economics and finance major, so I know I'm going to stay the business route. Looking for an internship for the summer after we graduate, and depending on how well I like that type of work, maybe like a sales type job, something in finance, something in econ. But I am interested in staying in the area, Westchester area, or around here. I really do like it around here for now, at least.
Sure.
Cool. No, I was just going to say, so wait, you said you went to DCC, so that's the local community college.
I'm going there currently, yeah.
So I know that in the last episode, right, we talked about whether or not college is worth it. And I was like, yeah, it probably isn't, right?
Yeah.
And I actually took a lot of grief from just family because I'm like, yeah, come on, you can't incent these kids to go to college. And I'm like let's face facts, right? I mean, having a college degree never hurts.
Do you have one?
I don't. That was I think we talked about that in the last podcast. But no, I went for I don't know 2.5, 3 years, 4 years. I actually probably put in a full 4 years, but just never got the degree. So it's just silliness for me. But I think that's actually. I mean, the route you took is probably one way that perhaps it really does make sense, because I think everybody's big concern is 4 years, and that's the cost, right? It's
100%.
I mean, even Westchester. I mean, that's got to be what, $25,000 or something like that.
Per semester, it's like
it's like $5,000 a semester.
It's $5,000
if you're taking a full course load,
and then on top of if you're living there, you have to pay rent.
It's probably like
you're
another.
Living there,
yeah,
so,
I believe per semester to both stay in the dorms and have a full schedule of school is $10,000 a semester, so $20,000 a year.
Like Wade said, that's being very generous too. Like like these are like all like
meal plans, textbooks,
exactly.
everything.
Like when it all comes together, it's a
yeah.
lot,
So
man.
I mean, doing the community college thing for the first 2 years and then going into a prime school is probably a viable way of doing it. Because the funny thing is, right at the end of the day, they don't look to see if you spent your full 4 years at that university. Right. They just look at the paper and say, okay, you graduated from Westchester University or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you can keep your costs down by hitting a community college first,
yeah. And back to what you were saying, like about the price too. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. You would probably know. If you like file for bankruptcy, I think you like your college.
No,
loans,
you're screwed. You got to pay.
Yeah,
Education doesn't get wiped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're still like in that hole that you're.
I think it's like one of the few things in this universe that does not get wiped by a bankruptcy.
Exactly.
They just don't care.
Yeah, I mean, well,
You're like,
because I guess they had so many
away.
people. I mean, I'm sure they
Sign it in blood.
they probably had so many kids doing it, coming out of college because it's tough. I mean,
Just a reset. Everyone. Yeah.
Well, a lot of kids. I mean, I think there is a lot of ways to save money if you're looking to get an education.
Oh, yeah.
But unfortunately, like a lot of kids our age,
Want the college experience?
yeah, they go there wanting the whole full years, and they're going there more for their experience there
That's
than
like what
their
you're doing.
education.
Like you could be living. You could have lived there all your 4 years. And
Exactly.
Just done
Yeah.
whatever, but
Yeah.
you
Like I chose to commute
last
my
year, saved
sophomore year,
$10,000.
and exactly, save the money, and I mean, you're not going to miss out on any better education by going to like a community college versus Westchester.
well, I mean,
or
with
anything.
COVID, you kind of lucked out too, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, everyone, that was a blessing in disguise. I said that. I'll say that like to the end of the time, like going from 10,000 per semester to like that 5,000 online courses, and
And we got some free classes.
we got free classes
Yeah.
on the summertime
I
too.
forgot you guys
Yeah,
did
that.
like that was like
We
another
didn't get
benefit. Yeah. I don't know. College is definitely like a weird thing because like you're so happy to go, and I remember my freshman year. I don't know about you, but I went to Alvernia University, which is like an hour drive out of the way. I didn't have a car at the time, so like, you're kind of like stuck there. There's nothing to do around campus. You're just stuck there, surrounded by people who
Yeah.
are like
Freshmen,
Alvernia is
Freshmen.
small.
we
too.
were
Yeah,
not allowed to
it was
have
very
our,
small,
our
very small.
cars on campus as freshmen either.
Yeah,
So I was stuck there too.
So you're kind of just like thrown out into like just forced to kind of do your own thing. It's definitely a weird experience, but I don't know. That's neither here nor
The thing
there.
with the community college thing is what I'm doing is after I graduate with my associates after this next semester, I'll get 100% acceptance into Westchester. So I don't have to go through the
Yeah.
process of, Westchester's 50%, right?
Yeah, it's around a 50%.
It's around 50%. But if
Oh,
I
you
have
mean
my
acceptance
associates,
rate,
rate,
yeah.
if I have my associates from Delaware County, it's 100% I'm getting in.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Shifting topics to you guys talked about like a little bit about the music stuff, kind of going in that direction. How old were you guys when you guys first got into that? And then we could kind of do like the generational gap. We have Joe here. He could talk about his point of view because I think you guys like a lot of the same music that I think Joe would like based off of what I know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, me personally, I was always into like the classic rock music from like the 70s, 60s because my father, I would always listen to his CD collection. He has a massive collection of CDs. And there's this video game when we were young that was pretty prominent. It's called Rock Band and Guitar
Yeah.
Hero.
Yep.
And I played those as a kid. And when we got Rock Band and got the little electronic drum set, I just instantly fell in love with that. And I realized like pretty quickly I could play like the hard or expert difficulty level with relative ease. And my parents, taking a giant leap of faith on my 9th birthday, bought me a real acoustic drum kit. So that started my love and journey with playing the drums.
That's a
and
big commitment as parents because that's very loud.
yeah, I'm very thankful that they put up with all that sound for all those years because it's a lot of fun. And to this day, I've just been trying to increase my skill around the kit and collaborating with different musicians like Wade and just having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, if actually John was the first person that I wouldn't have been playing guitar if it wasn't for him because he introduced me to the Chili Peppers. Because when I was growing up, I was the youngest of my family, so like I always looked up to my two older brothers. Well, what do they have on their playlist? I just listened to whatever they had. So
Was
I
it,
never
like,
really
rap and
had
stuff like
it
that,
was
or
just like
country?
the rap or the pop or the most popular
Stuff.
song. But it wasn't until that I was like, I've never heard anything like this. Like this is insane. Like
Yeah.
I'm in love with this. And then I would listen to it. Then I fell in love with guitar. And he would give me guitar lessons over FaceTime. Like when I first started, and I was playing on like a baby. It was like a
beginner-
toddler sized
yeah.
guitar. Yeah. So it wasn't even like a real guitar. It was a toy guitar. And I was learning.
And what do you guys like? What would you guys say that your like top 3 bands or inspirations are for?
Well,
like,
definitely
music?
Chili Peppers because of that reason. Probably Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, we'd have to say Led Zeppelin.
Holy mackerel!
And the last one I might have to go out on a limb and say like something like Funkadelic or George Clinton or something like that, just to get out of the rock,
Yeah,
just
like
to pick up another genre.
James
there.
Brown,
you're always into, like, the funk.
Rick James,
Yeah, I love
all
funk
those guys
music.
are
Old funk
phenomenal.
music, yeah.
And then some of the older rap and R&B artists like NWA,
Oh,
the
for
Beastie
sure.
Boys,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre, Coolio, all those guys were awesome. Wu-Tang Clan.
I feel like that generation of like rap and like obviously the other stuff that you listen, but rap in particular because that's what I'm more or less interested in. Like I feel like people always try to compare the two. They're like, all right, the 90s is always better than the current stuff. It's just like two different styles of music though. I feel like you genuinely can't compare the two together because like on one hand you'll have someone like, I know we talk about him a lot, but like Kanye West who's doing all these different things, producing, mastering, mixing all his own stuff. And then you'll have somebody like Tupac or something like that on the other hand where it's like two sides of the same coin. They're just completely different styles of, music and art and stuff like that.
I don't. It is hard to compare stuff from that far apart because the world was just completely different. So I mean, production wise, like they had so much less opportunity to make music.
And they were using a lot of more like real
actual
instruments.
It was live recording, like a lot of their tracks.
Now, how does that make you guys feel like nowadays?
Well, I think a lot of people try to unfairly and unjustifiably like compare music from different, like music is music, they're both great in their own right. And there was just like you guys said, different things going on. It's a different sound, but that doesn't mean one's better than the other. Music and taste are subjective. So
now, how does that make you guys feel? And Joe, you could pitch in on this too. Like, how does it make you? Does it make you guys feel any certain type of way? Since you guys are on the back end of like the music stuff, we like to talk a lot about like the back end of stuff. Does it make you feel in a certain way that the music today is using more electronic stuff, or is it just that it's its own style and,
Well, I mean, for me at least, it's I don't have a problem with it. I just think that when taking away that whole aspect of having humans collaborate with instruments on a live stage, or a lot of the 60s they're doing it in one take, one track, like the Beatles. Obviously they didn't get to pause every, so I just think it showcases a more like undeniable show of talent. Like if you're able to do that, not only are they using their
so the interesting thing is playing instruments a dying art.
Yeah.
Because
definitely.
I'm guessing that most modern records are recorded with a drum machine and don't even use a studio drummer, and so it's actually kind of a lost art. And so, well, maybe not yet, but I mean, it seems like it's going towards a lost art.
Yeah.
Like when you would say with the Beatles, like you can go on YouTube and there was little clips of them where they would mess up recordings and they'd be like take 130 and they're starting over from the very beginning of the song and playing.
You didn't have a choice,
right? Because they're just playing it straight through.
Like if you couldn't bring it, if you couldn't do it, there's no use for you. Now all the editing, it makes it easier for you. So it's like it's hard to tell who's genuinely.
Yeah, and the tastes have changed too, because I took a music class last semester and it was saying when FM radio first came out, it was expected that the music that was being played was live. Like there was no, they wouldn't if they were getting played off a record, then they would say that they're getting cheated. Like people are expecting, so it's kind of a change in taste, because nowadays everyone wants that production. Now they want it to be crisp, smooth, perfect, like play on demand.
There's like an expectation almost.
You miss a lot of the best part of music by doing that. I mean, there's some things where people messing up or adding these human elements, or what makes the music some of the best. That's some of the best parts of it is hearing that raw emotion.
Like I have some like if you actually go to the Led Zeppelin recorded studio album, like since I'm a guitar player, I can tell, like I can hear when Jimmy Page misses a note, because like if they just kept that in, because it was like they played the whole song, they're not gonna do it over for one little note. Like
and it makes it just that much more enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, changing that to like kind of going into more like live stuff, like you said, did you ever like attend like any of these like Woodstock events, or like?
The big no. So I it's interesting. I actually I missed the second Woodstock,
the 99.
I actually, all my friends went. I actually was working. I was actually out of town and missed it. So, but I mean, I've done a lot of concerts, but never the big mega shows.
Yeah.
Woodstock, man. What I would do to go to that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, but even the reality is, I mean, I talked to my friends about it. So, I mean, you don't see anything, right? I mean, you literally don't see anything.
That's true.
You were there with 100,000 people. So, I mean, sure, you can claim that you had the experience, but what's the experience? It's like, sloshing around in some mud and you're not really hearing the music or the artists unless you're way up front, which is just super rare, right?
It's almost, more... You'll get a better experience just watching it back on
YouTube. I just watched the whole concert on YouTube.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many concerts I went to, and I actually, you do the tailgating and you end up going in. At the time, you kind of go in a little loopy, and the next thing you know, I'm trying to find the bootlegged recording of it so I can kind of re-experience it, because I missed half of it and stuff like that. I don't remember any of it.
Or just don't remember it.
Yeah, so I don't
know. That's funny. I mean, this is kind of like going to like a more global thing, but I think CDs back then and more of those 100,000 people shows kind of forced people to go out and experience the music live. And now you kind of have to almost pay like homage to like the Beatles, like you said, Led Zeppelin or Michael Jackson, where people would go out to the store, get a physical copy of their art that was coming out at the time, like as opposed to now.
It's so different.
Like these people would sell like millions of records, whereas now people are trying to compete for like that 100,000 or like the 100,000 sales, or like Drake's doing like 500,000 or whatever he's doing. And that's
well,
like
I mean, I'm guessing the sales numbers have all taken a hit because of people just subscribing to Apple Music, right? So
Oh yeah.
they're getting. I mean, they're
It's like
getting
the
paid,
streams.
right? They're
It's
getting
like the
paid on
streams,
each
yeah.
time it plays, but it's a whole different.
Yeah.
They're not selling as many units. I
Yeah.
would think of the actual CDs or the albums themselves.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to get exposure online. You know, you don't have to go to a store and buy a record to hear someone's content.
It was such an
so why would
experience.
you do
I mean,
that?
I almost feel bad for you guys because I mean, the whole buying music was such an experience. I mean, I obviously I was in the records, and then that slowly transitioned to the CDs, and then it's kind of gone full digital, and I've kind of lived through all of that, and it's been kind of an interesting experience. But it was cool, going every Friday or whenever the release was to get the latest and greatest album. I mean, I remember camping out at like midnight to get the Guns N' Roses, Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, and
Wow.
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Because now it's just okay when it
Just
drops,
like-
you just download it on your phone.
Yeah, I find myself like just being in bed at like 12 a.m. like
Yeah,
you said,
yeah,
and just like,
yeah.
oh well, I got everything like at the touch of my
Yeah,
finger
so
now,
none of that
so-
happened, right? So you had to actually, if you wanted that record
That
day
day,
one, you
yeah.
had to kind of, for the real big ones, you had to camp out and get it. It was kind of an experience.
That's cool.
I mean, that's kind of like we kind of experienced that more or less with like video games.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
it's
true.
like that's like the new thing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
I mean, even that's going away. Everything's going digital. Like
Oh, yeah,
I
we-
couldn't tell you the last time I.
Well,
waited
yeah,
out
I
for
mean, you can
something.
get an Xbox or a PlayStation without a optical drive, right? So it's literally all digital.
all digital stuff. Yeah, man. But going back to the concert thing, I know this is kind of like a harder hitting topic, but as you guys know, like, what are you guys' thoughts on like that whole Travis Scott thing, the Astro World Festival? I don't know if you guys read up on that
Can
at
someone
all.
fill me in? I know kind of what happened, but I don't know any details.
Well, I mean, yeah, like his show kind of got a little hectic when
Yeah.
people were rushing the stage and people got injured and killed by, the stampede of people overpowering the stage and trying to get
Was it like a
close to
mosh
him.
pit or was it?
So he tweeted out like a while ago, and I love Travis Scott for the record. Like I like his music and stuff, but he tweeted out like a while ago, like earlier this year, and said something along the lines of like, "We're gonna get all the ragers in, even the ones that like sneak in." And someone don't fact check me on that, but he said something along
Yeah.
those lines. So at this recent show, that's exactly what happened. People broke down an entire section of a wall and stormed in, like no security checks.
Yeah.
So like people.
Oh,
were-
so they were outsiders who didn't even have tickets.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
into
yeah.
the
The
concert.
place
I
got-
thought you meant to the
the concert,
stage.
The
Yeah.
place got overstocked
So,
like
with
so
that,
quickly.
you face not only the problem of overcrowding, but what are these people sneaking in? I even heard there
Exactly.
was rumors of someone going around injecting people and
With-
with
yeah, I heard
crazy
that too.
stuff. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
at the end of the day, like whose fault is it? I wouldn't say that it's Travis Scott's fault, but there was people saying that he should have seen the ambulances. He
Well,
should have seen.
Yeah, and in combination of that, it's all of his past choices. I saw like some clip of him like encouraging people
To
in
beat
a
up,
past show to like
yeah.
overpower the security and do.
Well,
It's like,
yeah,
well, when you're
I-
doing
I-
that kind
I
of
think
stuff,
that he
I
was
mean,
like he literally was pointing out like an audience member, and they said, "Oh,
Oh,
kick that guy's
yeah,
ass."
he-
Yeah,
he
because
tried to take
they
his
tried to
shoe.
steal
Yeah,
his shoes
yeah.
and chains
yeah,
or
and
whatever.
he- yeah. So
Like,
it's like,
geez, okay.
yeah, at a certain point, what do you expect is going to happen? And the news about him partying after, I don't think he really cares.
Yeah, I mean, it all just comes down to him. Like
And
he's
the
the only
apology
person
video
that
is a meme
Okay.
now, dude.
Yeah. That
I-
apology
that's what I
video?
saw about it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I really know.
Yeah, I mean, it just came off as like disgenuine. I feel like only he would truly know, like, if he's seen the ambulance. Because how are you gonna say, like, all these people are passing out? He
Well,
probably
you could-
thought people were just having a good time.
Well, he was obviously
you know what I
messed
mean?
up, right? Like during the concert,
you can
right?
put all that aside. You could totally void his actions tonight of whether he's responsible for being able to see it and stop the show with just all your past events that led to this moment. You are responsible based on the way you were talking to audiences in the past, encouraging people to beat someone up, encouraging people in the past to overpower the stage. When this happens now, it already happened. Whether he saw it happen or not, he's a big reason why it happened. It's not happening at every show. It's happening at his shows based on his rhetoric, the things he
Yeah.
said.
I mean, I went to a Logic concert. This was 4 years ago. It was like a dual performance with him and Joey Badass. And I remember someone passed out actually, and like he stopped the whole thing because he saw that person passed out, and like went like this with his hands, like it was like
Parted
Jesus
the Red
split
Sea.
it, yeah,
Yeah.
parting the Red Sea, and like he like made it like a big deal. So like I guess it just comes down to like character. Like if you see someone in, I don't know, it's just different.
you're
though,
right.
I
Yeah,
guess
you're
it just comes down to
definitely right.
character, and I feel like how big the crowd is. Like you obviously have like 50,000 people or whatever showed up to his live show. Like you don't want to stop everything just because of one person, but at the same time you want to make sure that one person's
Yeah.
not dead. And
Yeah, I mean,
ultimately-
yeah, one human life is better than the concert experience of the 50,000. So
yeah, man, I heard that and I was just like, oh my god, he's gonna get some extreme backlash, and then the apology video. I
yeah,
was like,
I
okay,
guess
well,
we'll see what we'll see what
Good
happens
try.
now. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure people will freaking forget about it in
Yeah,
a
in
number
a
of
week, yeah.
matter of time, just like everything else. That when
Yeah.
the next controversial thing surfaces, inevitably.
Well, it'll be in the news for a while because of the lawsuits and stuff like that. But
do you think he's gonna get the lawsuits, or you think it's gonna be asked?
I think he's
for,
already being sued. I mean, personally. So yeah, him and I guess the host of the
like Live Nation.
yeah.
Mm.
Dang.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm guessing they're going to say the security wasn't there to prevent that, and especially if it's outsiders rushing in. So who knows?
Yeah.
It's a mess.
Yeah,
It is.
It is a mess indeed. I don't know.
Not a good start for kind of the world going back to normal, you know, for concerts and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, and that's the thing. A lot of places now are not requiring masks. I'm starting to notice. So is everything going back to normal? What'd you guys say? Or what do you?
Well, I mean, I don't think that the OSHA thing's going to pass because I don't think it's constitutional. But if you're talking about going back to normal and something like that was implemented, it's about as far from normal as we could get. You know, mandating people to take a vaccine or else you can't work. It's a pretty
Well, that's
extreme
Texas
thing.
too. So I mean, it was in Texas, right? So
Yeah, Houston.
Texas doesn't. There is no COVID in Texas. I was just in Dallas for
Yeah, you were just there.
a trade show, and so there was 1,000 people. It's the first time I've done a very large trade show that didn't require masks, and it was actually just wonderful not having to speak through a freaking face diaper. So
Yeah, at Westchester, where our first like guest just happened on last Friday. Yeah, last Friday, like this past Friday. Sorry. We just had our first guest since everything's happened. They like spoke at our school, and they haven't been bringing any like outside
outsiders
parties.
in, sure, yeah.
Um,
So actually, that kind of brings up the other thing we were going to talk about, which was, you know, how do you guys get your news? Because I'm guessing news consumption and even social media, right? We can actually kind of bring that into the conversation too, because I know it's probably different for me than it is for you. And Wade, you even mentioned, right? You didn't even know all the details of the Travis Scott.
No.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I only know it because it's all over, like, you know, Fox News or whatever. So
I'm really not into the news thing at all, though, unfortunately.
yeah, well, it's not a bad thing. Trust
no,
me.
it's not. Trust me, because I've known before, and I've chosen to have it that way.
Well, as far as we go, I mean, I know for me, it's got to be, if I had to put one at the top, it would definitely be YouTube. And then if I had a secondary one,
YouTube.
yeah, it would probably be Snapchat. Those little, that's how I found out about Travis Scott, was watching those Snapchat news things. I mean, I'll see, and the only time I'm going to watch a CNN clip, MSNBC
If it's
or
on one of
Fox
those
News
platforms.
is if it's a clip from YouTube.
Yeah,
So,
so
I
I
get
mean,
all
that's
of my news exclusively
Yeah, I'm not
from
gonna like
YouTube
turn
almost.
on the TV and turn on Channel 6 or anything like that ever.
Right.
Probably.
So I mean, obviously, I guess I get most of my news from, you know, kind of, I don't want to say the mainstream media, but you know, obviously for me it's like Fox and stuff like that,
Right.
or Facebook, or
Right.
which I'm guessing you guys don't. I mean, Facebook's not a big
Meta.
thing for. Yeah, sorry, Meta.
Not the meta.
No,
It is the better now.
Like I said earlier, I think
The
it
metaverse.
really it's shifted from a young audience to now it's an older audience now. A lot of kids
It's been
don't
that way
even.
for a while.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for
Like,
sure,
I just,
but-
People still
I
get
just never.
information.
Yeah, I mean, I just never got onto Facebook. Like from the moment that it came out, like I guess before that it was MySpace, and then it was like AOL, MySpace, and then
I just had-
Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah, and I never got on the wave of Facebook. I always just kind of like gravitated towards like Instagram,
Yeah,
and
well,
pictures
yeah.
and stuff.
I
Twitter.
pretty much was on Facebook like exclusively until Instagram came out, and then I like had no use for
Yeah.
Facebook, so it kind of replaced it for a lot of people.
Well,
our
I haven't
age,
posted
think.
anything on social media for like 4 years now. Like,
Yeah, well, to be fair, Wade
That's
Wade
rare,
does
right?
not. Yeah, Wade does
Yeah,
not.
so
I
have that.
haven't used, like, I use it. I go on, because, like, usually what I follow, it's always just, like, music stuff, guitar stuff, think about my friends,
Yeah.
businesses. So, like, that's the only thing I really get to see, and that's the only thing I really want to see. After that, it's like, turn it off. I don't want to post anything.
Yeah, good for you.
No,
I mean,
that's definitely a gender thing too, because
You think
the
guys are
yeah
saying?
the amount of males that are on Instagram that use it as like a place to view things and not post things compared to females. Like some girls post on a daily basis or hourly basis.
Yeah,
literally.
like stories.
Crazy.
If you go to the stories, it's all my stories is girls. Now that you say that.
So a lot of people live on social media.
And with that, like they're starting to reward you for the more you post. Like, have you guys noticed like when you haven't posted in like a year?
Yeah,
you get like
notifications. It tells you.
It doesn't like you're not getting the notifications, or people aren't going to see your posts. Like I
know
know for
pop
me,
up in others' feed based on how frequently you post.
So I know, like for me, for example, I haven't posted in like a year until I went to like Niagara Falls. I went and then I posted a picture, and I think the like analytics for it was like this isn't showing up on like 80% of your followers' feed.
Right.
And in order to do that, like you kind of like have to like post a story, like an Instagram story, which I'm more like active on just because it's only 24-hour intervals, and then it's on to the next thing. So I don't know, man. I just
they're just rewarding the people that obsessively use the apps, and they're doing it to keep them there and keep doing it. Yeah,
it's working perfectly.
I mean, for the business side of things, like we always have to make sure that we're kind of like on point with that. And I know like we try our best to do so. It's just that like getting content for this stuff is sometimes a little bit more harder than the actual like putting products out themselves.
Right.
Well, yeah, and you don't want to just post stuff for the sake of posting it when it's not quality, and you're just doing it to try to get the algorithm to stay there.
Yeah, I mean,
then you have to post stuff that's subpar, and it's
it's a tough thing to kind of fight because you have to almost do it on a daily basis to sort of get into the cadence of finding your way onto people's walls and stuff like that, but we don't like to do that. I mean, but it's interesting because, I mean, I know that when we first started chasing social media for Exclusive Minds, right, you were all over Instagram and I was all over Facebook, and it was not vice versa. So
yeah, I mean, that just goes back to the demographics. Like,
and I've never used Snapchat ever. I know,
really?
Like Natalie uses it all the time, right?
Yeah. Snapchat's good. I mean, I like it.
Yeah, I just use it like communication, honestly. Like we have like group chats and stuff.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll Snapchat more than I'll text people.
So is Snapchat where you're almost texting and then it just disappears after like an hour or something like that?
Yeah.
In theory,
it's like an 24-hour. Like I said,
well, that's
24-hour intervals.
It's basically a text message thing where you can send pictures instead of text if you want to, and the picture that was sent will be deleted after that person opens it. So it's like a live texting chain that only that person can see.
But if you're in the group chats, it acts like just like how text message would. Like the group chats stay in the group chat until.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I mean, obviously, experiencing it from the business world side of things, you have to be very careful about what you post on social media because that shit will come back and haunt you. I mean, it's a shame.
Examples of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I don't know. Do you want to talk more about like any examples of like it coming back to bite people? Like,
well, just like stories we've heard of people stealing other people's credit cards and buying merchandise with it, and then hoping putting that on their story.
Saying, "Hey, look what I did."
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Well, it's just like, come on, dude. I mean,
okay.
It's something we learned like at the start of all this social media. We're like 14, 15 years old. They're like, you got to be careful what you post.
Yeah.
And it's like all these people.
And people post it. My shop's open today. Come buy weed and Xanax.
Yeah,
it's like
all you have to do is be like,
it's like
watching people actively try to ruin their futures.
And their names there. It's like there's so many. Their whole account's connected. They're like, here, my address. Come pick up your stuff.
To top it off, the new SnapMat feature.
Oh yeah.
Most Snapchatters always you can go to this thing on the app and just see all of your friends' location at all times.
It's like their little face on the map. You can see it.
Or you could opt in to turn it off, but most people, like he said, they're keeping it on.
Keep it on.
So it's got a built-in tracker for your friends. Wow. Okay.
Exactly.
Dude, talking about privacy.
I mean, that's built into the iPhones, but you have to really go out of your way to like.
You're like streaming it to everybody.
This you're broadcasting. Yeah. Like, and if you have I feel bad for the girls who. Any girl has some stalker guy in her Snapchat. She's not careful. You can know where she is at all times. It's dangerous.
Like I know, like on the phone, like you said, like there's like a thing called like Find My, like me, like
but you have to
my dad, and like all like it's just like more like for like family.
Yeah,
like
that'll show you where your device is, not where your friend's
and then
devices
now
are.
you're like, I know where Joe's going to be going at any point of the day. You're going. You know,
it shows you like it can tell when you're driving. Like if you're driving, you'll show up on the map in a car. If you're with other people, you will all be in the same picture. Like I don't know how. I guess it can tell you're going 70 miles an hour and you can't run that fast.
We were talking about this in my one law class. Like, what implications does this have for the government? I mean, the government's there's been so many Supreme Court cases on the government tracking citizens.
All
and
apps
invasion
mine
of
data. That's why. Apps
right, but
like cookies.
Now that you're willingly broadcasting it out there, I'm sure now you're just giving
for
that's
free.
giving the government your location.
No need to
so if
sign
you're doing
yourself
anything
shit
sketchy, it's probably not a good idea. You know, so
I always kind of go back and forth on the whole privacy and stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything wrong, so what the hell do I care if they know that I'm driving over to
that's kind of how I think of it too.
But then at the same time, it's like, okay, the one time that I do something accidental or intentional, right? I mean, Jesus, you don't want to have the world come down on you.
Just the thought of always having government eyes on you
can't get away with anything.
Unsettling.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's absolutely insane.
I don't know. Just I don't even know where I was gonna try to go with that, because like it's just like it's one of those things where like it could take you down a slippery slope and you don't want to like end up doing that, but.
No, I hear you, but I mean, it is just kind of interesting. That's a whole different. Do you guys? We haven't really hit on do you get any of the political social medias like Parler or any of the alternate ones that have kind of come about or even know about them?
Well, I don't think Parler was on the App Store long enough for me to even be able to download it. It got removed so fast.
I have no idea what the heck you guys are talking about. What's Parler?
It was like a conservative social media platform.
Because Facebook was delisting everything, and so they started.
They just removed it.
It's kind of like a Facebook alternative.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, no.
But because it was conservative based, they took it down. Talk about viewpoint discrimination.
That's a whole.
Yes. So what do you think? How you feel? Going back to, I guess, like the security thing. This was like the thing that I took the long pause to think about was on like YouTube, for example, people who are like trying to like hide news and everything like that. Like I know they were like hiding the fact that if you were to talk about like where COVID came from, they would flag your posts down.
That. Yeah, that was crazy.
Or on Instagram, every time you mention the word COVID pandemic, there's always that bar.
Yeah,
that
that's
shows
so
up
weird. I noticed that.
So,
disclaimer.
And they're yeah. I mean, when you post something, I mean, this was early COVID. People were like, "Oh yeah, this is coming from a lab." They would just take stuff down, and then here to come to find out, like that wasn't far from the truth.
Well,
so I mean,
it's just like it's not. I mean, these are private companies, not the government. You know, they can put regulations on speech, but it's just like it's not right to do so. People should be able to
Why are they pushing it? So like,
it'll
be like a joke, like a meme. I'll look at like a COVID meme or something. And underneath, it'll be like, you could tell that the people that posted the video didn't put it there. It was just like a thing that you click on a link, gives you all the facts about COVID. Don't step outside. The grass
they're so hell-bent on providing you with one narrative, one story, one viewpoint. They're not even going to give you the opportunity to see anything that they remotely don't like. So
it is.
That's like kind of like the whole reason. Like I took a second to like say what I was going to say, just because like if you like that could go down like a slippery slope very quickly of like what people are trying to take in and what not trying to take in.
Well, I mean, that's the reason why we could avoid the actual subject of politics, but I was curious of where you all are getting your information, because
there's so much information everywhere.
Yep.
That's the problem.
My main things are like if you're on Twitter, like you go to like the trending or whatever.
Who the hell? People still use Twitter? I mean, seriously, like.
Yeah, Twitter's a huge platform.
Yeah, Twitter is
really
huge.
Still.
Yeah, huge. I enjoy Twitter just because at least the people that I'm following, and like I don't know about you guys, but like it's just like always like funny memes.
Yeah, that's mine's so personalized that I don't think I even get like all this this news stuff.
Exactly, or like the new Call of Duty just came out, for example. People will always be posting on there like a bunch of problems or issues or whatever. So it's just like a go-to place rather than like a search bar.
Twitter is a lot of people will get their information from Twitter, I would say.
Well, then, and it's like, and I think another reason people are exactly what you just said. People are wanting to go to social media like YouTube, Twitter to get their news because it's surrounded by stuff like that, like stuff you guys said you enjoy.
Stuff that they're familiar with.
Yeah, you go to any other news platform, and it's like evolved to the point of every top news story is just the worst thing that's happened. Like you don't get to hear really anything remotely positive from most of the main news things. So people are just like, oh, I want to laugh too. So I'll go to my Twitter account to get my brief news and laugh at the rest.
So we could probably go in like a round robin style here about what do you guys feel like? I'm sure this probably happened to you guys where you guys think about something or had a conversation about something, and then that thing popping up in between your Instagram post or Twitter post of like an ad, like a specific.
It's even worse than that. So I have been in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. Having a conversation with Ida about something that we need. I forget what it was. It was something very specific. It was like we need some sort of cleaning detergent.
Sure.
And obviously we have an Alexa in the kitchen, mm-hmm. right? And I kid you not, I got an email 15 minutes later from Amazon saying, "Hey, if you need one of these things," and it was a bunch of
get 50% off
cleaning things. I mean, and there was no way this was coincidental. And I'm like, "Holy Christ!"
So now, do you think?
And I as far as I know, they will probably say, "No, we don't listen." And I'm like, "Bullshit." Now, bull.
Now, do you guys think, before we go to John and Wade's answer to that situation, do you guys think that it's computer like registered, so like they listen for like the computer's listening for keywords, or do you think it's
it's all automated?
It's like automated.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd have to be.
Yeah. I don't know. Like some people think that like just someone's like on the other end, they're like tapping into your
phone.
No, just like when you Siri, like how does Siri know where you'd be like, Siri, what's the weather? How does she?
But like that all ends up going back to like a human person though. Like at the end of the day, like the automation.
Well, whoever wrote the algorithm.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like there's like a whole thing about it. But like, have you had like an example of that? Like, or
definitely. Me personally, I haven't noticed it much from saying things, but like if I search up, say like, I need more new guitar strings, I'll search up guitar strings, and then I'll go to YouTube. I'll go to YouTube and I'll go to watch a video, like a Call of Duty video or something, and I'll be scrolling through and there'll be an ad a Guitar Center or Sweetwater ad. I'm like,
well, let me tell you something. These scams, it's definitely evolved, because from going from the random phone calls talking about my mortgage payments and my car's extended warranty all the time, I'm like, these scams are not going to work. So they really are trying to step it up.
But, oh man, it's just
it's hard to believe they still do those scams, those email scams. I mean,
and people fall for it.
Like
the phone calls, they always get old. They call my grandmother all the time, and she will pick up the phone and give them the time of day. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna freak out. Like, just hang up on them.
I watch these videos.
Hello,
on
I'm Josh.
Your
name's not Josh.
Yeah, I got one. I got one right here. The one I just sent.
Is it I sent you.
I sent both of you this the other day. It's a screenshot, and the message goes, "Hello, I am UK government. You need to pay $1,500 iTunes gift card to me, or you under the rest."
You're under the rest.
You're under the rest.
Like honestly, if you put some effort into it.
That's what I mean. If you can't even,
how hard is this?
If you can't get the
get
grammar right,
translator.
It's like you're not gonna get anything.
If you guys go to YouTube, you ever watch those videos of like the hackers trying to like troll them?
They say their real name and address and everything.
Sorry. So what they'll do is, I've actually picked up on it. So when like the hacker or like the person trying to scam you is on the controlling your computer, like when these older people are like typing in the numbers for like, let's say I'm like, "Hey Joe, send me $200. I'll go in your computer when you're typing in 200.
Add an extra 0.
And as you're about to hit next or update or whatever, they'll put a 0, and it's like, "Oh, I just sent you $2,000. Oh, all right, well, send me this more, and then I'll send it back to you." It's like,
let's try that again.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting kind of creative with it.
Oh, dude, so the one, they are able to, when they have you up in your banking information, they do this thing where it locks the screen in, and they can edit everything on the screen. So the scammers will take that screenshot of your bank statement, and they can literally edit what your balance looks like.
Yeah,
so crazy. People look at their account, see, "Oh crap, I must have sent them $2,500, when in reality it's just over top of their actual showing a different number.
Yeah,
so they think I must have to go refund that money. Yeah. So it's getting to the point where like people that aren't our age, people that don't know that information, they're going to think it's legit.
Yeah, I mean, I get these calls all the time. Probably I would say 3, maybe 4 times a day.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, your car's extended warranty is like...
You are under arrest.
How do you
there's
get
a warrant
off
out
of these
for your
cars?
arrest.
I'm not trying to...
You're under the rest.
You're under the rest, yeah.
There's actually there's a website, I think, that you can turn off. Well, yeah, you can sit there and take your name off of the do not call list or whatever.
Oh my God, I would love to be taken off of that. Yeah,
it never works. Press 1 to be taken off the list.
I mean, it'll filter some of it out, but not, the more legit places will stop calling you at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just comes down to like.
So you guys aren't running VPNs on your phones and stuff like that?
Not on my phone.
Can you on your phone?
Yeah,
sure.
You can. NordVPN, any of them.
True.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I have one on my computer, not on my phone though.
Yeah, I think you have to on your computer nowadays. Like you'll be playing like in a Call of Duty lobby. and then someone's like, you're winning a game, they'll just hit you offline because you're simply just doing better than them in COD. I'm like,
people have so many resources.
Yeah, you gotta
now, it's
protect
crazy.
that IP address.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, all right, just because like I'm doing better than you in a video game, you're gonna take my IP address and hit me offline. Like,
greasy
all right,
kid.
fantastic. Yeah,
Some
exactly.
grease ball.
These video games make kids very emotional. Yeah.
It really consumes them.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to
these
see
kids.
something? John, you'll appreciate this.
Oh, I can already see. Oh my god, dude.
How do you feel about that?
One of the greats.
So
It's coming out as soon, isn't it? The new one, Infinite.
It's
Halo Infinite's coming out soon.
so Dave is actually showing a Halo. Is it Halo 2 or
Halo 2.
It was
original
both.
Halo?
You had Combat Evolved right
Yeah,
behind it
exactly.
too.
It's the original Xbox Halo.
That's,
I actually have the original Xbox down in the basement someplace.
you gotta sell that thing for $1 million.
Yeah.
Someday, right? I don't think so. I
Dinosaur.
don't have the box, so that's that'll kill the value.
Yeah.
I want to try and get myself onto what's that Pawn Star, so I'll go out to Vegas.
Oh my God. Are they still running that show?
I want to sell my my Xbox with all my game cartridges.
The best I can do is $6.
Yeah,
The Lego stuff, all the kits I get, I keep the box. I cut the tape with
Yeah,
an X-Acto
yeah,
knife because I've sold on Craigslist like they were only a few years old, but they were discontinued. Guy paid me like $500, and then another $100 just for like 20 minifigures.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of money in that. So no matter what the box is, I always keep my boxes. I'm
too much
a
of it. I
hoarder
open it
with
like
that.
an ape as soon as I get it.
Yeah, I can't. I'm so meticulous.
Well, a lot of
with
them are
thinking
like childproof. So
That's what I mean. By the time I get it open, I'm
you have
pissed
to
the
rip
hell
it
off.
apart.
Yeah. Wade can't even enjoy his product.
No.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
You have a lot of Legos, bro. Like a lot of them. This guy Easter Day,
Yeah,
you open his closet and it's like the whole.
I think it's
bottom.
like 5,000 in Legos now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's going to be a
You
return
could-
on investment, though, right?
Yeah, that's the
the
idea.
plan.
And yeah, the one like I bought.
There's always a market for it.
Yeah, the one was $60 in 2010. Now sealed in box on eBay is $350. Another one was like a few $100. Now sealed in box on eBay is like $1,500. But that was one of their like Ultimate Collector Series bigger had
Now, me and Joe had this
Crazy.
conversation last podcast, and I want you guys' 2 cents on it. Is do you think our generation? How did I word this? Do you think our generation it's easier to make money now as opposed to let's say 30 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Why do you guys think
But
that?
but if you make $20, you can put 2 gallons of gas in your car.
Oh God.
Yeah, no. I mean, that wasn't. I mean, so obviously, yes, making more money is easier now because
So many
The
more resources.
accessibility.
inflation
yeah.
has
Yeah.
kind of killed that. But yeah, no, that's not what we meant. I mean, just relative, right? Is
No, yeah, but definitely yes.
yes,
Yeah.
because there's more opportunity and avenue
many
because of the
things.
internet, right? I mean, that's kind of where we.
That's
went.
where we.
Now the
People
only
make money off
the
social
only
media.
other side of that
Yeah.
is if you're looking to get into some crimes. I mean, robbing a bank now is probably way harder than it was
That is
100
true.
years
You're not
ago.
getting away with
Yeah,
anything, like I said.
That is true. I guess back then it
It was way easier to get away with crime back in the day.
Yeah.
So
No-
if you-
no-
I mean,
uh,
think about it.
what's
The
it called?
mafia was a prominent thing back in the day. Like they had these like whole.
yeah, imagine
crime
if they had
organizations. I mean,
cameras and
they
all this
still-
stuff to catch them. These
For
guys
forensics,
wouldn't have lasted long.
they didn't have forensics until like what?
I have no idea.
70s, 80s?
fingerprints and stuff like that, but yeah, not like it is now. We can
Yeah.
do DNA traces on a.
Yeah,
Exactly.
a particle of
Yeah.
oxygen.
And especially like we said, we referencing the Snapchat thing. I mean, that's if you can even go off the radar for 5 minutes to do the damn crime. I
Yeah.
mean,
Like while
people
you're doing
know
a crime,
exactly where
someone
you
just
are.
recording his Snapchat.
That's what
Look
it-
at these
Your
guys.
Snapchat
on
that's
character
what
has
it's
like a
like.
cartoon
Yeah.
money bag and his mask on. He's running from the.
I mean, I guess one could argue it's a good thing. I mean, because then we're going to see less crime. But how much interference and how,
Yeah.
should we let them have in order to ensure that no crimes happen?
So, for example,
it's a
like
trade-off.
obviously you guys know that we do the clothing stuff, and you were mentioning the Lego stuff.
Right.
With the Lego stuff, like back then, Joe had mentioned you would have to know somebody or know a group of guys, like a 10 of you that are sharing like the like-minded with the Lego stuff. Whereas
Right.
now you could post on like the Facebook Marketplace,
Right.
and have somebody who's like, oh,
yeah, have
I-
a worldwide
yeah,
audience.
let me
yeah.
get whatever you said.
It's way
20
easier
figures
to,
for, like,
to get into
whatever it
those
is.
niche, like narrow markets
Yeah.
and get access to
Yeah.
those markets that aren't
Because there's
so
all those
big
people
and
that are all spread out.
mainstream.
All
Yeah,
together now.
all, those markets all existed back then too. It was very difficult to actually get to those markets.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Just
So-
the lack of knowing people, or if you need a car to drive somewhere,
or
or
shipping stuff, like
Yeah. I mean, shipping. I mean, I don't know what like. I'm assuming shipping back then was the same as it is now, right? With like shipping goods and stuff like that, or was it a little bit different?
No, I mean, post office and stuff like that. But sure, yeah, it's the same.
Because we were just talking like before you guys came here, right? Like this mic, we didn't have this mic yesterday. Now, like we
We
go
didn't.
Amazon Prime,
Yeah,
go
one
to-
day delivery.
that showed up.
No,
this morning.
not even 1 day delivery. It was like 12-hour delivery.
Dude, I
Jeez,
ordered like 2 Christmases ago. I ordered myself a pair of AirPods that morning, and they came like
That same
at
day.
noon.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there's that article about that we were reading in, I forget what college class, about the like Amazon drone hive. Like it's like a pyramid shaped structure with all those holes in it, and eventually, who knows how long from now, but they're gonna have just drones filling the sky. And it
Imagine
said,
some dude just out there shooting the drones
It
down,
said
collecting
Stealing everyone's
packages.
packages.
on average, after placing an order, it should arrive about 30 minutes.
Where do they come from? Because I don't see Amazon
So they have
stuff around.
I mean, they have warehouses everywhere. I mean, I think the deliveries
us,
for
though.
us here locally is Wilmington, Delaware. There's a
Okay.
huge warehouse down there.
Okay.
That's
Or
definitely
Newark, but
every time I track packages, they're coming out of Wilmington eventually, so it's got to be that.
Yeah, but we were recording episode 2 yesterday, and we were talking. We're like, we should get a third mic and try kind of doing a larger format, number of people. And so I said, all right, let's order one, and went online, and boom,
Yeah, we
it was
ordered
here
before
at
the
7
podcast.
a.m.
Yeah,
this morning.
It was
so-
awesome.
And it was already probably that mic because you guys were talking about it 5 minutes ago, and Alexa heard you talking
Yes.
about it.
Oh,
But here's
so
the
now
mic
we're
that you want.
It was
anyway,
already
so-
in queue before I even ordered
Exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So it's so easy now.
So, all right. So before we were talking, we were just kind of briefly talking about it. You weren't here at the time. We were thinking of like overrated or underrated. In yesterday's podcast, we talked a lot about Starbucks. What do you guys think? Overrated or underrated, and why?
Do you want to start
Yeah.
this one?
I would say it's definitely overrated for the price, but I mean it's still good.
Yeah, I mean, if it's good, though, do
I
you
don't
think
know
a good
how I
cup of
would
coffee is
say-
worth like $5?
No,
Because if you think about
you
it,
don't need to.
$5
Dunkin's just as good.
for most people nowadays, that's like a half hour's worth of work.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
So-
I guess the starting question for someone to answer that is, do you enjoy drinking coffee, and at
Yeah.
what degree do you enjoy it? Like,
Well, it's
I
not
don't-
just
from the-
about coffee, though, right? So I mean,
It's
they
the
have
whole experience.
teas. They've got the
well, right, but I'm sure their
The
largest
dragon
source
fruit,
of
dragon
revenue is
fly.
coming from their
Dragon-
coffee.
yeah, the
drinks.
pink drink.
The pink
They
drink.
have the pink
Yeah.
drink.
They got all these hibiscuses.
But if you're asking me,
$17.99.
I think it's incredibly overrated. I mean,
Incredibly
you can make
overrated.
a damn cup of coffee at your house.
They literally
and you'd be
sell
fine.
Munchkin
See,
donuts on a
that's-
stick.
yeah.
How much are those
They're
donuts?
they're,
Those-
dude, they're
the-
like
the
above
cake pops.
$2.
Yeah, I
they're
think
like
they're like $3.
above $2, and it's
for
like 2 bites
one
a cake.
Munchkin.
Yeah.
It's literal Munchkin on a stick.
Yeah,
It's literally a
ridiculous,
Munchkin.
dude.
And my wife loves those.
No
That's
way.
She does.
crazy.
She does.
Oh my goodness.
She always
Taylor
has to
got
order
them
one
and
of
you were
those.
mad at her.
Yeah, because I ordered for me,
Yeah.
Wade, and Taylor. I bought it. I was just like, all right, I'll buy it, whatever. For 2 Munchkin sticks. They're not called
They're like
Munchkins.
2 and a quarter
They're cake
a
pops.
piece. Yeah.
And then 2 large drinks or whatever it was. It was like, it came out to like $16
Yeah,
or
it was
something like that.
insane.
And I'm like, for these
Well, I
things,
mean,
it's so
Starbucks
ridiculous.
is so huge. Like you're
Yeah.
paying for the overhead. Like you're paying for every.
Well,
there's
yeah,
those
that's what it'll-
trickle down costs, and like we said earlier before the podcast, I mean, it's all
In the experience.
Like more of that money that you're paying is going towards the experience of where you're sitting, the nice materials, the nice plants, the nice
Yeah, it is.
atmosphere, than it is the coffee. you
Yeah.
know?
Okay.
Like they want they want you to sit in there and spend as much time as you want, but because you're in there and another
the fancy
customer isn't, they
straw.
got to charge the price for the amount of time you're spending in their business. Whereas Dunkin', you're in and out of there so fast they could charge you $2 a cup
You got
because there's
those
another
bright,
one of you.
vivid lights reflecting
behind-
down
yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's why you see how when they redid McDonald's,
Yeah.
made it like that terrible brown color because they don't want you to stay there.
Yeah.
They want you to buy this stuff
Get
and
the
leave.
hell out, yeah.
There's like a lot of like psychological stuff that comes down with colors. Like at
Marketing's crazy with that
marketing
stuff.
with that
yeah.
stuff is crazy, but like at I think it's Disney World or Six Flags or something like that. They have something called, it's like look away green or look away blue, and they paint it on all these doors that are like for like the workers.
services. So
yeah,
you,
so
you
like
don't
you
notice
don't
it.
you don't want to look at these colors, and it's like how
Yep.
would someone even know
Yeah.
to do that? Like when I'm picking like color palettes for like the clothing stuff, it's like, oh, that
It
would
must
look
be a-
badass, or I'll have that color.
A very
in
good
stock.
understanding of psychology and
Yeah.
how the brain thinks and
It's
why
They,
we
they
like
actually
certain things.
they actually do like studies, and they'll
Gotta
bring
say there has to
people
be
in
tests,
and
It's like experts.
like they'll have a room filled with like 15 people and start showing swaths of color and say, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? I mean,
Like, that's ugly.
they have
I
it
don't like
dialed
that.
in. I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's all signs to it,
And,
but
then a guy goes to 4 years of college to figure out which colors are
yeah,
which colors are good
pretty
colors.
much.
It's needed, so
Yeah. So I guess we're kind of going down that rabbit hole.
Well, no, we're actually running out of time, so we
Oh, we are running out of time.
getting there. So
All right. Well, we'll quickly do it. Overrated or underrated? What do you think? College, the ending price.
well, we just talked about this
Yeah,
earlier. So
What do you think?
I think you definitely nowadays. I feel like you almost need some sort of degree or some sort of certification to be even compete with, because there's just so many people out there doing.
See,
the same
that's the vicious cycle. That's
because there's so many people
self-perpetuating.
If you say, "Oh, I don't need it," well, there's
I know, and
how many people that have it.
That's
so
the biggest problem.
You need to be competitive.
You kind of get on the loop and you can't get off. Right? It's I have to have it. Right? In order to be successful, I have to have it, and the next person thinks the same thing, and you can't get off the
right.
hamster wheel.
Yeah. I think
that's the challenge.
There's really good opportunities in trades, but if you are trying to be a non-degree person competing with a degree person, there is no chance. And even now, the degree isn't even enough now, because now there's such a giant pile of degrees that they're looking for, all right, internships, experience.
Yeah, they want
experience. My uncle
is
working for Comcast, and he's saying when they hire, it's all college degrees, but if they don't have any experience, it just goes right by their desk. They don't even take a second look at the resume. So now the degree's not even enough.
Yeah,
I mean, it's crazy.
The college intern programs are probably almost as important as the actual classwork.
For sure, yeah.
Because I mean, coming from my personal experience, you don't learn a damn thing in college, and even if you do, it's very minimal. The stuff that you're going to retain is so small. Like there's
what you learn in college is not what you're going to need to learn when you get your first job.
That calculus class that me and you Wade were talking about briefly the other day, that I took a year or two ago. I can't tell you a damn equation that I learned from that class. It's so bad, dude. Like,
it's going to be interesting to see the stock market in a couple of years when all of our generation from the
start
COVID era is going to start going into
all these Chegg University graduates coming out and doing all this engineering and doctorate.
That makes me want, going through that experience. It totally took away all the qualifications of an online university. Yeah. I was like, there's no way that it's so easy to just highlight the damn question and put it into Google and get the answer. It's like the
this is some self-incriminating stuff that we're talking about it. Not
online,
us
and especially through COVID, actually learned anything. It's probably very low.
That's the truth.
Yeah, so it's like,
you were right. When in a couple of years, when all the doctors and the lawyers and engineers are
everyone's paying through Bitcoin, by the way.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting.
It will be. Yeah. What time are we at, by the way?
We're running up on 51 minutes, so we probably should wrap up soon.
Yeah. I feel like there was one more thing I had to ask, if you guys wouldn't mind. This was the last thing. How important do you guys feel? This is the last thing, I promise. The stock market is for our generation. Are you guys? Obviously, I know the answer.
Huge. Yeah.
What do you, what's some stuff that you're going into, and what stuff that
like things that I'm investing in?
Yeah, what's your experience with the whole stock market, crypto, everything?
I think that the whole crypto thing kind of made it blow up for our generation, which is good because a lot of people can make a lot of money off of it, but also people can lose money. But so you could just have to kind of look at it as another resource for normal people like us to make money.
Would you say that
I think it's a great thing that it's becoming more mainstream.
You're someone that has both, like, knowing you for personal experience. Before we move to John, what would you say is more successful in your benefit, like whether it be the traditional stocks like Tesla or whatever, like traditional, like the S&F Roth IRA, whatever, or the crypto? What would you say that you...
I mean, I can't say anything on the crypto because it's so new. It's like you don't have anything to base it off of. The stocks have been... I mean, people have been using those for a very long time, so there's a lot of credibility.
It's more like slower, but more safe, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess you could say that, and it all really depends. There's not one stock that you could say that's... I mean, inevitably you're gambling.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Well, crypto definitely... The only thing crypto did for our generation, for sure, was made investing accessible. Because, I mean, kids our age trying to invest in the typical stock market is a lot more difficult to do than downloading an app like...
Well, you can do that now with regular stocks, too. So.
Right, but that's what I mean. Before the technology...
Stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, all that stuff is... And I just think crypto's having... Especially some of those like Dogecoin, Bitcoin that have blown up to such magnitudes that are unreal, that such a high rate of return potentially is what's drawing in all these young kids. I mean, they're working, they have the disposable income. If I could make, 1,000-fold off this by chance, I'm going to try,
As Joe would say, do you feel like that the success of like those Dogecoins or Coinbase, do you think it's all smoke and mirrors? Do you think it's like portraying a false reality of like people saying, "Oh, I made $100,000 off of Dogecoin by only investing like $600.
Well, I mean, it's not a false reality because someone's making
I was going to
hundreds
say.
of thousands
people,
of dollars. The problem is at the end, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be left holding the bag for,
That
you know,
person
in
who's-
Bitcoin case, right? This is where I just don't get it, right? I mean, people are making money, right? You can certainly make money and it's legit, but there's nothing there. I mean, there's
Yeah, when you're investing in a stock, you're investing it in partial ownership of a
the-
corporation,
right.
of a company, something
Practically
that
brick and mortar,
exists
something
and has
that is
value.
real.
I mean, a cryptocurrency is intangible. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no physical manifestation of that thing. So where's the value? The only value is in if you can, buy it at a lower price and sell it at a higher price.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then,
And then
if,
it
if
brings
you're
the
just
people
left
mining-
with
the people
Bitcoin
mining
and it's
it.
worthless,
Yeah, yeah.
it doesn't give you anything.
I have a hard time getting. I just you know.
Or nowadays people are mining it like Wade said. Like you could just.
Yeah, but that
set up-
doesn't seem
But you, so, I mean,
legal
that was the
to
question.
me.
Someone said, "Oh, well, I was talking to somebody, and they're like, well, there's all this mining and all this equipment behind it." I'm like, well, not really, because when you buy Bitcoin, you're not buying a piece of that miner,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
You're-
that's
you're buying the
like
coin.
if you and
Yeah,
I are
yeah.
in the basement mining with our 16 GPU computers, right, and we produce a Bitcoin. The person buying that Bitcoin doesn't have any ownership stake in the mining equipment, all the that computer equipment.
Right.
Yeah.
They
it's-
just have access to a Bitcoin, which is a digital currency, and it's
digital asset. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, a lot of these people that are mining, it's not just like how we would say like our gaming PCs. They have warehouses of
Yeah.
Yeah, they're specialized
3090s,
rigs and-
like crazy multi-million-dollar operations nowadays where they're making like a full-time job off of just doing that alone. But
If it's legal, I don't see a problem with it.
It is legal.
And I
For now.
I shouldn't
Yeah.
say that because I know it
But the
takes.
government's
There's a
not involved
regulation
at
on
all
it.
Well,
now,
it's not legal
so-
in China, so
yeah,
Oh, really?
Once the
Mine's
government catches up to and regulation, more
Yeah, 'cause
regulation gets
there's
put
no-
on it,
not-
and it's going to be
there's very
harder
little,
to
right?
find those loopholes and do that kind of stuff. I'm
well,
in
so that's
favor
a
of
whole nother thing. I mean,
less regulation.
if the government ever comes out with a digital currency, that's a whole nother nightmare. That
yeah,
Yeah, you can just imagine.
yeah. Personally, I mean, I like if the government stayed the hell
See what
out.
was
I'm in
after?
favor of less
Don't tell me.
regulation. So.
yeah.
it's at like 260 something.
Yeah, it's down. We're down bad at this.
Oh yeah, I brought
Quant?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
talking about
cool,
this
man.
earlier with it.
Shout out to Alex, by the way, if
Yeah.
he's listening.
8K by the end of the year. Time's ticking, man. I'm gonna have to start collecting it at some point.
Just go and start beating the shit out of
Yeah.
Oh man.
So for those that are kind of not following along, reality is kind of setting in for these gentlemen on crypto.
We're trying
Yeah,
to
we're
become
down.
millionaires.
Hey,
Yeah,
they didn't get
dream.
me. I'm safe still. So
On paper, it seemed like a good idea, but
Yo, yeah, I mean, I don't want to put his business
Well,
out there,
no.
but he's made a lot of money off
has
of it.
made a lot
no,
of money.
Yeah.
and the second you guys get the hell out of it,
It's
you're gonna
gonna
see it
shit
shoot
up.
up.
Like,
and
it sounds-
just so you know, right, the first person in on the Ponzi scheme is always the one who makes the money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. He's at the top.
I guess this is benefiting Joe's thing. You're just sitting back laughing. We're like down, depressed. Like, Jesus. Yeah, man.
It's because everything he's predicted, he's watching you guys go through.
We're just waiting for the right altcoin to
Yeah,
pop
I'm just
off,
gonna
man.
just hold it, I guess. Yeah.
I mean, I
wake
just
up
think-
one day and
Yeah, like if your investment and you're at all risk averse, you do start an
Yeah.
what the hell is it?
Roth IRA.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
that's definitely
And just
the
take
best
your
bet.
safe rate of return and
Yeah.
cash out when you're 50, 60 years old. I mean,
But you can't cash out until you're 50 or 60, right?
you
Can
can.
you're gonna
but
get taxed,
just get taxed.
and then there goes all your
and
money.
if you then you're giving
And
up
then you're losing more money.
Yeah.
So
then you're giving up every following
if you-
year of compounding interest. That next year, towards the end of those 50 years, could be the difference
Oh.
between 50,000,
Oh,
30,000. It
you
could be
can
a
tell
lot
that
of
he's
money.
an econ major.
no, yeah, he's right. Yeah, you want it, and
Fancy talk there.
it is good stuff.
Compound interest. Whoa.
that's what you want out.
I like
Because
it.
I just
I'm
started.
glad
That's the only thing John
I'm glad I remembered something.
I just started one, so I'd say I definitely should start one.
That's what I mean. Because
Definitely start one. Because you can only add $6,000.
I was
going to
say it's $6,000 per year.
Yeah, the clock's
So
ticking.
the later
Every year
the
give
longer
up
you wait,
is-
the less time you have for that money to
Exactly. Yeah, you're
compound.
gonna be your portfolio is gonna look a hell of a lot better
if I
than mine.
pay,
when we're
if I do
in
the
30
$6,000
years.
every year, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you said you missed a year last year, right?
I did. I ended up actually getting it.
But
so
yeah,
Oh, you got
obviously
it
you
in?
want the
Oh,
highest
yeah.
amount of principal in there, like your highest
yeah,
principal amount
but like
possible.
that. What I mean, like $6,000 to me right now is huge, dude. So it's like it's hard to put it in there, but it's like you just have to
On
put it
top
in and
of
forget
college.
about it. That's what I mean. Like a $6,000.
Yeah, because
that's a whole semester.
That money goes in, you can't touch it for
No.
decades. So
No,
it-
you just have
yeah.
to forget about it.
Yeah. So you got to make sure you can afford to actually give up that money for the time being.
Yeah.
Got to do it though, for sure.
I definitely would say so. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we are not financial advisors. So
We're not financial advisors.
Please
This
don't take any
podcast
yes.
is sponsored by Exclusive Minds at exclusiveminds.com. Nope, sorry, not that one. That's the guy. No, wait. Hold on. exmnds.com, not exclusiveminds.com, exclusiveminds.us or exmnds.com.
Please. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. Well, we talked
about it. Yeah, there's just some guy holding on to
New
it.
album.
Oh, wait, yes, John, please. John.
I had to get a little bit of promotion.
Yes, no. So, for the people that don't know, John was the drummer that was talking previously. He's been going on like a new journey about like starting to make like rap music and stuff like that. If you want to talk a little bit about that while we're wrapping up.
Yeah, real quick. I don't want to take up too much more time. But yeah, me and Wade, who's sitting across from me right now, we do the rock music all the time. And my roommate and one of his friends were doing more of the rap stuff. And I've always been interested in it, just didn't have people to rap with. So now that I'm hanging out with them and doing the rap music, we have an album coming out December 6th that's just a rap album. But in the future, we're looking on mixing the two genres of rap and rock together with Wade.
New.
And doing some live music, mixing genres.
So where are you guys at? Like, what would you say? Like, could you compare any of the music that you guys are doing now? Is it just strictly like your own music? Is it remixes? What can we expect?
A lot of the beats we're using are producer beats that aren't owned. They're free beats. We did do like one old Dr. Dre beat, stuff like that, and then we did do one beat that we made entirely. So it's a good mix of new to old school rap. But in future albums to come after this one, we're going to be looking on infusing, a lot more of our own creation because Wade will be on it with me. It'll be easier for us to make our own beats
guitar
and stuff like that.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, kind of like a Beastie Boys type. They infused a lot of instruments in their rap.
Aerosmith, who was it?
Run DMC, Aerosmith.
Yeah, that was so sick. That's the type of collaboration that blows people's minds, like brand new things like that. Like no one would ever think that. So.
And what date was that?
December 6th, we're shooting for.
December 6th.
Yeah, we're trying to make it available on Spotify.
And what's the name that they can look up to find it?
We haven't picked one yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be SSS, 3 S's.
Okay. All right.
Both our names start with S, so it's the simplest thing we could think of.
All right. Well, we'll have to put it in the link in the description or something like that.
Yeah, when you have it, for sure, share it with us, and we'll make sure we get it out to our audience.
I hope you guys liked the. Thanks for coming for one.
Yeah, thanks for having us,
of course. And then I hope the listeners enjoyed the kind of like the 4-person setup we got going on here. This is something that we never tried before. A lot more energy.
Yeah, we should do this more. We'll factor this in on a more regular basis. It was fun.
Yeah, and anytime,
I would definitely do it again.
I'll come back anytime. Yeah.
I mean, you guys live 4 minutes away.
This is very, very convenient.
No, we had to fly them in.
Sorry, we had to fly them in. We bought them hotels.
We need help with our sponsorships and donations, please, because we had to fly these gentlemen in.
It is hard to fund all this.
Cost a lot of money.
Might have to miss an episode if you don't get proper.
Please.
Oh man!
All right, cool. Let's wrap up. We're actually on an hour, so this will be our longest podcast yet. Which
thank you.
So now I know how Rogan gets to do 3 hours. It's actually not that hard.
No, this flew by.
Kind of get lost.
It flew very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it was just me and you talking, it might be a little hard, but yeah, when you have a grip, it's easy.
It's just easy, I thought, yeah.
Awesome. I'm making it sound like it's easy. It's not easy, but anyway.
You're doing all the work.
All right, cool. So thanks all, and we will catch you with episode 4-ish in a week or so.
Yeah.
All right, cool. See ya. Bye.